Fahed Al-Masri, head of the National Salvation Front in Syria, revealed in an article in the Hebrew newspaper Yedioth Ahronoth that Hezbollah and the pro-Iranian militias are working to establish new bases in Syria and transfer their forces there to avoid further strikes while maintaining a strategic foothold near the Golan Heights, stressing that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard sent about 200 members of the Polisario Front, supported by Algeria and Iran, to southern Syria, and they were stationed specifically at the Thaala military airport, the Air Defense Battalion in Sweda, and in the 90th Brigade, which is only about 20 kilometers away from the Golan. In the same article, Al-Masri pointed out that Iran has trained a number of Polisario elements in Syrian army sites in the countryside of Daraa during the past 3 years, wondering at the same time about the nature of the gains that Algeria is reaping in supporting the Polisario in the context of its hostility towards Morocco, and in supporting the Assad regime in Syria and its alliance with the Islamic Republic of Iran and its hostility towards the Syrian people, and about the secret of its permission for Tehran to infiltrate its lands, and its disregard for the fact that the Polisario militia has become a threat to its national security, especially after it began receiving orders directly from the Iranian leadership. The same Syrian political actors stressed that Iran's involvement of Polisario militia elements in Syria confirms the correctness of the demands directed to the international community regarding the necessity of placing this organization on the lists of terrorism, stressing at the same time that the Polisario Front does not only pose a threat to Moroccan territorial integrity, but also a threat to the regional security system, which requires serious action to eradicate this organization and hold accountable all those who support and assist it. In a similar vein, the head of the National Salvation Front in Syria explained that Iran has made a series of rapid tactical changes in the region over the past month through its armed tools in the region, where Hezbollah evacuated many sites in southern Syria opposite the Golan Heights and was replaced by the popular mobilization militia, most of whose members were naturalized by the Assad regime, noting that Hezbollah elements withdrawing from southern Syria were sent to Homs, Latakia, and Tartus, where Tehran has more than 60 militias in Syria distributed over more than 520 sites. He stressed that Tehran has redeployed its militias in the region to enhance its operations from Iraq and Syria and to ease the pressure on Hezbollah on the Lebanese front, noting that weapons smuggling operations from Lebanon to Syria were monitored from the Zamrani crossing and some tunnels and mountain paths after the party's strongholds in Lebanon were subjected to Israeli bombardment, noting that, despite the decline in the presence of the Lebanese party in some areas in Syria, such as Kalamoun and some other towns, it still effectively controls strategic sites in southern Syria, such as Talat Musa, the second highest peak in Syria. In the context of his talk about the war between Israel and Hezbollah and the type of weapons used by the latter, the same Syrian political activist stated that the party's strategy focuses on hiding its strategic stockpile of weapons out of sight, specifically in remote areas, as this party has relied on a policy of banning grazing in some areas near its warehouses and preventing the owners of lands near these warehouses from investing in them, so that even the Lebanese army cannot reach them. He concluded that Israel has no way out of this situation except to implement International Resolution 1559, which calls for the disarmament of Hezbollah in both Syria and Lebanon to prevent any threat to it and to the countries and peoples of the region, stressing at the same time that stopping the dismantling of the party's weapons will inevitably mean that the latter will regain its strength and military structure, while noting that the Lebanese army, which has been infiltrated by the party in Tehran, cannot be relied upon to carry out this mission. Rather, an international weapons inspection mission must be sent to Lebanon, and the Syrian-Lebanese border and the Beirut airport and port must be placed under NATO's control and supervision.